Hello to everyone, this is Vishal. Now we have another tutorial of MVVM today. Hope all are doing good and I'm very happy to see your comments and you're watching the video. And if you want to download the tutorials, I will also be upload the link of GitHub so you can download these tutorials or these projects from there. Now we have to start the session. In this session, I will show to you the list view binding, but using the data class. If you see my previous tutorial of list binding, that's without data class, but I am showing to you that it become more easy in MVVM data binding if you are using that data class name. So we have to bind that data using that. And also, that is the most interesting part today that I will show to you. Uh, that is how we can use the image view binding in that. So this all be your MVVM approaches. That means we have to put the image view inside your list view. Okay, so before that, just we generally go through what we did in our MVVM approaches. So if you see that we have a view model, and we have a model. Three things we are working. And then inside your view to view model, both the interaction is called your data binding, as we know. And view model to model, whenever we work on that, that means we need a notification. That means any data changes or updation there. So that's be working with using base observable class. So three things in our projects always be, that is UI, logic, and data. So here all the logics be your view model. That's the most interesting feature in this kind of models. So that means whenever you communicate between the view and view model, that's called data binding. Whenever you communicate with the view model to model, that's called notifications. So that we have learned in our previous videos. And if you want to know more about most base observable classes, that you can learn from my base observable video there. Now today I will show to you that how we can use this list view model using your a data class name, that we bind the model to the custom adapter and can set the custom adapter in your list view. So that's the part we have to work. And what happens generally if you're talking about the simple list view? There is a list view, we have an adapter, we have a model, and in adapter in we can extend the base adapter, and from the model changes and base adapter can interact with your list view. But in the case of data binding, what happen, we have to create a list view model here that do everything here. But in this case, we have to bind the data or data bindings in your inner layout. So first we interact these things, that is the MVVM approach. So view is inner layout here, and the model view or a view model is your list view model, and that interact with model. But in a small projects, we just create the model and list view model be the same, because of no need of the changes be there. So we just access the things. Okay, and in your custom adapter, we have to bind the custom adapter using the class binding technique. So there is a data class binding by which we can interact both the list view model and custom adapter here. So that is the most interesting feature, how we bind the data using the class. And in my previous list view, there is the binding the data but without the class name. So both are discriminate. And most interesting, how we can use the binding adapter or how we can access the image view. But my first phase, I have to clear that before image view, that how we can use the data binding technique be here using data class. So now we have to go for the session. That means our Android Studio it is, and first and foremost thing is we have to make a data binding as enabled true and sync it. Once it completed, then we design our layouts. And in this layout, what happens generally, I will make it a linear one. And here I am using list view. So no need of these things be here, and make it a match parent. And here I want to give the ID because of I am not using the binding with the list view. I'm in a main activity. I'm using the binding with your inner layout. Okay, so here I'm giving the ID as list view. But if we bind this main activity somewhere, then we make it. Otherwise, we just, because it is a small code of project, so um, I'm using just simple binding technique. And if you want to be the divider here, divider height, it's 5 dp we are doing. Okay, just simple. And I want be the color of this as blue. So let's see. Yeah, this is our design. Simple. So what happened on the second case, we have to make our list view model. So if you have seen my previous tutorials in which I will explain the title and description in our layout. So I want to do the same thing but using the image view. So it's folder or a package for view model, and in this package we have to make our all the models be there. Okay, and here it's a Java class and I'm giving the name is ListView Model. At this time I'm making as a base observable. Maybe some changes in the future we have to work on this. And I want three values, that is your title, description, and also be your image path simply. And now we have to create a constructor with parameters. If need without parameter, that will check it later. Okay, and here I have to set the getter setters for all the values. Okay, so it's easy. So these are model be ready. So as here we have a title, description, and image. So for that, what we have to do, we have to go for the layout and create our inner layout, that we have to bind both. So this is our layout resource file and I am making as inner layout. Yes, for the inner layout, what to do, just simply make it as a linear layout, and this is our rep contents, and uh, orientation as at this time first is horizontal then vertical, and background color I'm using a green color here. Okay, so this is the layout, and in this layout I want image view of size 100 dp and 100 dp. I fix at this time, and if nothing we have, I just checking with the resource drawable IC launcher on the background. And now I think I need one more linear layout for the match parent wrap content, but the orientation be vertical. In this orientation I need two text views, text view, match parent, wrap content, and this is your ID, So now we need of ID here because of we are binding the data. We are using the text. Later we set on using the binding this text. So just check it using the title. This your text style is a bold and text size is 22 dp, and text color I'm using a white, and mm, yeah, margin I'm using 10 dp. So same thing I have to copy for the description, but only the text font be little less for the description, and it's not a bold, it's a simple. So make it as a description. Okay, let's check the layout. Okay, so this is our layout. So yeah, the rest of the things you will do by your own way. I'm just show to you that how you can bind the data. So here what to do, the site we need a layout here, and in this layout make this layout after all the layouts, that means at the end of this. Okay, so simple. I think now you become the master of this. You can do it or apply it very easily. Okay, so this is our layout and make it here, and yeah, that's fine. Now that's the most important, how we can use it. This is our data, and this is our class, and I'm using the class name as a list view binding. Data is ready, and I have to bind this class, just a minute, binding. Okay, so I have to make a variable under that class name, that is your name, and I am using news model now at this time, because of we have to set that news model using the list view binding class. Okay, and I have to make bind these things be on your custom adapter. So let's see this thing. This is our view model, list view model. Okay, so everything is ready, and here, because of I don't want any changes at this time with the image view, first I have to cover the first phase of that. I'm using only the text view, then once the data comes be here, then I'm using the images view. So first we learn for the how we can do it for the text views. So this is our news model dot title. That's easy. And this is our news model dot description. That's fine. Okay, so now it's completely data bind with our list view model. So that means there is an interaction of uh, list view model to our inner layout, and the list view also be ready, and custom adapter we need it. So for the custom adapter, what we have to do, that is an important phase. We have to create a package, and here I have to put all the adapters. So this is your adapter package be here, and in this custom adapter, in a simple list view what we are doing, I'm using the same. So here this is our custom adapter. So what we are doing, generally we need a base adapter. So easy. So that means alt enter and implement all the four methods be here. Now we need two things here. First is the context of that, so we can use context and context be here, and this is your private, and I want a array list, because of I have to put the array list of all the list view model. This is your news list, we can say. Alt enter. So these two things we have to pass in the constructor here. So make a constructor of public um, custom adapter, and in this we have to pass a context, and this is your array list of ListView model, and we can say it is a news list. So easy. Now we have to pass the things be here. This dot context is equals to context, and this dot uh, news list. Sorry, this dot news list as a news list. So easy. Okay, so everything is ready. Now we have to go for these methods. So first our method is get count. So generally what we need for the get count, that means we always we return the size of your list, news list dot size. So easy. And what we do for get item id. So nothing with this. Okay, so yeah, so we have to work with get item first. So in this we have make it as a position. Yeah, so make it as position or whatever you take it, and here I want to return in our array list on particular position get item. So news list dot get your index, that's called your position. Okay, and here nothing, so send it as a 0. Okay, and the most important feature is and this method how we can return or bind the data. So the everything is here. So I think it's very simple steps of the custom adapters, 1 2 3, and this is your 4. So now on the fourth view, first you have to set this parameter name be easy. This is called your position, this is called your convert view, and this is called your parent. Okay, so that means if the names be good, so you can pass the parameters easily. So this is your, if you have a convert view is null, that we are doing generally. Okay, so if our convert view is equals to null, so what we do, we just make a convert view, we create the convert view using the layout inflator, and layout inflator dot from which context, this is context, and what we inflate the layout of r dot layout dot just a minute, alt enter. So this is your inner layout. Okay, and nothing we have, we just pass it null. Okay, so this is our convert view, and for this convert view we have to make our list view binding class accessing here, because of we have to bind this class. So list view, but here you see that there is no class. So what I have done in previous tutorials, that is, if you do not find the class, because of I have seen the queries on the Stack Overflow and other, if you do not find the class here, what to do, you just simply rebuild the project, because of it create a class for you. So once it create the class, that means you can access the instance of that particular class, because it's during the time of data binding, it don't know that in your inner layout you without uh, build that it's your class name. So sometimes it happen. So first you have to run this Gradle build. Okay, so let's see what happened. Yeah, so this is your private what's the name, list view. Yeah, you can see there's the class name list view binding. So these are list view binding instance for that, and now what we have to do, that means here we have to use this convert view as a list binding. We have to bind this view. So for this we need a list view binding, and this list view binding we are working with the data binding util dot, we have to bind our data, so that is your convert view. So that means we bind the things, and once we bind we have to set tag. So this is your convert view dot set tag, and what our set tag, that is your list view binding. So that's three lines be enough to set the tags. Okay, and on your else condition, what we have to do, that means here it is our list view binding, and that list view binding, that is your list view binding, and convert view get tag, so we can get the things once it's built. And this is our step second last. So we have a last list view binding dot set news model. For that model we are working with the news list dot get position. So that means we have to set the model for particular positions of the your news list. And the last, we have to return list view binding, that as well as we are doing using the get root. So this is very simple step in your data binding technique. So this is our custom adapter ready. So there is no find view by ID and lot of stuffs be there. It's just simple three lines by which we bind the data. Okay. Okay. Now see what happened in our main activity. For this, we have to pass. This is your private and list view. This is your list view. Okay. Alt enter. And here, because of we simply accessing the list view, so no need of the binding be here. This is your find id dot list view. Okay, so first thing is ready. The second thing is we have to pass the values in our uh, array list. So that means that we have to set adapter in it. So the second thing is we need a mm, array list of a kind of list view model, that is your news list. Okay, and here we can say it is your list news list is equals to new array list. Okay, so that's be ready. Now we have to pass the data by the list view model. So list view model, our first list view model here, in which we have to pass the data. So that data you have, I mean the actual, it comes from your JSON on your database. So later I will show you how you can use it, but at this time we are passing the values from here. Title 1, this is title 1, and the last is your image path, but at this time I have nothing. First I'm using the simple path. Later, once it runs, then I will show to you how can you use your binding adapter in this case, and how it works there. So I just copy the three values be here and make it as an 2 and make it as an 3. Okay, so making it as an 2, and this is your 3, this is 2 3. Okay, so that things be ready. Now we have to add this news list dot add in your ListView model 1 and copy paste it and make it as a 2, make it as a 3. That's fine. Okay, so now need a custom adapter to set these things. So make a private custom adapter, custom adapter. Okay, and this custom adapter we need it as a new custom adapter, and we have to pass this context and also be your news list that we have to set for the, and this your list view, and this list view using the set adapter, and that set adapter is your custom adapter. So everything is fine. Now we'll see it works. Once it works, then we'll use the image view inside it. So now we have to run this using the Genymotion. Yeah, so now let's see. Okay, let's see what happened here. Yeah, so you can see that here's the title, description, title, description, title, description. So that means one phase already be done, and now we have to work with this image views. So now I will show to you how we can access this image views. For that, your custom adapter ready, list view binding with inner layout, and we access it list views. Simple. So now we have to work with the image view. We in image view we have a lot of ways to bind this image view, but today I will show to you how we can use the binding adapter. So for this we need to load the image, and the best way to load the image is using the Picasso. So what to do? First you have to go for your Gradle and use this Picasso. Okay, sync it. So we can use this binding adapter as an the methods, just the getter setters, but how we can use these getter setters will show you. Okay, so again you come on your list view model, and no need of this getter setter for the image at this time, just delete them. uh, just doing changes, wait for a minute. Okay, use this binding adapter here. For this binding adapter, what to do? You create two curly brackets and give any name to this bind values. So here I bind uh, your image URL. So same thing we have to pass on during your in your data binding. Okay, so here this is a binding adapter, and this binding adapter work for the two things. Number one is because of everything we are working on this here with the setter, so this setter always be your static kind of setter. Okay, and this thing you give any name with this. I'm using this, so you can apply it without bind also, or you just pass only simple image URL. It's a way of doing that. If you want more learn about the binding adapters, you can comment me. I will show you the binding adapter how can work. But simply how you can use it, you just use as an public static void, and here I have to load the image. So I'm making the function name as an load image, and here what we have to load? That means we need a image view in which we have to load the image. And what we need here, I need a image URL. So here I am using a string image URL. Okay, so these things be ready. And once I think it is still running the Gradle, so I'm waiting for that. Once it happen, then use the Picasso. And here on the getter, what we have to do, use the public your string. This is your get image URL, and you have to return your image path here. Okay, so how to set this image view in your Picasso, so that I will show to you, but let's see what happened in this. Just wait. Okay, yeah, now it is stop. We'll see it. So here, what we have a Picasso. Yeah, so this is our Picasso dot with I need this context. So here we have a image view dot get context dot, and what we have to load, we have to load this image URL. Then if you have any placeholder, so you are work with placeholder. At this time I'm nothing, so I'm using the default treble dot alt enter, import this class. Yeah, so r dot treble dot any launcher. If you want to work with any placeholder, you can do that. Use the user image there, and into our target, that is our image view. Okay, so everything is set here. So that means we have to bind this on your inner layout using this your image view, and I have to bind this your app, and in this app I'm using this image URL, and that's it. Alt enter here, and here on your brackets, what we have to pass, just a minute. Yeah, that's it. So this is your at the rate, your news model dot image URL. Okay, so this is our simple things we have to access using the app, everything here, and that name which you have to put it there. Okay, so this is our image view that already be done. Everything is there. One more thing, because of we are loading the image, so we need some values of the link. So here I have some PNGs of Picasso. So what to do, just go for your main activity, and instead of path we have to load the images. So at this time just show to you and making the same image be here. Yeah, that's fine. And as we load the images from outer resources, so we need the permission, use permission internet, that's it. Okay, now we'll see what happened here. So everything is ready, and so here We have a list view, list view model, inner layout, and custom adapter. We set all the things by a simple class binding and then access it here. So simple. Okay, so we have to work on that. Okay, now it's finished. The Gradle. Let's see. Yeah, so you can see the images here. So it's easy, and that means uh, we have bind all the things and then use the image view uh, in a simple way using the data binding MVVM techniques. Okay, so today we have to wind up, and we'll show you more updates and more videos for you related to the MVVM and the Kotlin also. Thank you so much for the day.